Here we have a 1971 Karmann Ghia Volkswagen. So we got this project, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and it's going to be a full restoration. I'm not a mechanic by trade. I'm a master electrician, but I fart around with cars. I build my own motorcycle. I got my own little Miata that I fart around with. So this is going to be the journey and maybe the start of a bunch of projects, because I got a 53 or 54 GMC that sits on a 83 Mercedes to do. That's my bike over there I built. I also got a 2004 Land Rover I've been restoring. I guess, you know, just making more reliable as it can be. But today we're going to take that steering wheel off, along with pull the carpet out of the driver's side. I already cut a bunch of the old wires. We're going to be putting this in. I've used this before on my buddy's Jeepster and it works really well. Super easy, you know, it goes together real nice and clean. There was some other off-brand wire loom in here, but I cut most of that out already. You'll see it later in the video, you know, the rat's nest that we have. So I gotta take 3 screws out of this wiggly thing that's under my left hand that actuates the horn. There's springs on them too, so be careful about that because they can fall. It's always a good habit to put things, you know, in their own respective box with a label on it, because, you know, sometimes things will stay off and it'll be months, you know, if not years, and then by the time you come back to it, you're like, ah, shoot, how does this go back together, or are these all the parts? It's better just to have it all together, you know, from the beginning. But easy peasy. Gonna move on to pulling that carpet out. And you'll see where I had already cut the wire loom. You know, this is like the first time I'm trying to do this, so I'm going to try to get into the groove of it, of recording all this stuff, because I do a lot of really cool projects that I think it would be pretty neat. My phone is honestly a piece of junk, so I'm getting another phone, and I'll be able to talk while I'm working, so I don't have to do this dumb voiceover stuff. But, yeah. There you go, I'm pulling that carpet out. And I also, there was a bunch of pieces to that, and I ended up putting it in a trash bag labeled driver's side front. That way I gave myself a fighting chance to try and puzzle this stuff back together. There, see, there you go. And then that's just gonna sit somewhere. Yeah, once the carpet's up, a lot of times if it gets wet, especially in these convertibles, that shit can be rusted out. But this doesn't look too bad so far. Oh, also this tool here, it's got a magnet on the end. There is not a time that I'm working on a car that I don't use it. It's such a clutch thing to have, like nearby at least. What I like to do is I'll run it around and then I will put a vacuum wherever I'm done working. That way you can always have just like a really clean, you know, setup. And, you know, if someone comes by, it doesn't look like a rat, you know, been through there and then went in, whatever. Yeah, so that guess, expandable hose. It's like made of metal or aluminum that I pulled out of there. It actually goes to the engine bay, and then it connected to that, you know, hole that I was just vacuuming around, and it goes through the floor. And I guess it's maybe an air intake of some sorts, if I had to take a guess. Yeah, here's that rat's nest. We ended up deciding we're gonna just get a whole new gas tank, because that one has got some really bad gas in it. It's rusted, you know, all that horrible stuff gas tanks don't like. So I'm gonna take the gas tank out. I'm gonna remove some of these wires though. This is an old loom. It looks like it's been redone before, like the car has, so that explains why it's in decent shape. But it's just better. I don't know what was working or, you know, what wasn't working, so we're just putting that painless loom in. Got to get rid of all this stuff, just start new. Also, I do want to do some paint in there, that way it dresses it up, stops any rust, all that stuff. You know, there's that. So I just pulled that, you know, gas tank vent off. It's a really good habit. Anytime you pull any hoses off, even wires or anything like that. Wires we're doing here, we're getting rid of all of it and putting new stuff in, so it's not a big deal. But any hoses, it's just put a little bit of painter's tape on there and, you know, write down where it came from. Because as obvious as it seems where it comes from now, it is not obvious when you're putting it back. Right here, I'm messing with the headlight knob, or the lights knob, and turn all your lights on and whatnot. If you've never messed with these before, there's a little button on the bottom of that, you know, module. Watch, I'll press it right here. Boink. And then that knob will actually pull right out and it'll come out. Because if you're not familiar and you're just pulling, you're gonna break it and then be like, oh damn. So, you know, just a little trick there. So I'm not gonna make you sit through, there's 4 bolts. My camera setup is not super great, so it doesn't look super interesting, but I'll just, you know, speed through this real quick. The bolts tighten down on a collar that actually hold that, you know, tighten down on the flange that the gas tank has around it, and that's what holds it in. This car actually wasn't getting any gas from the tank, and you'll see when I pull a tank out, the line's not even hooked up, and it looks like somebody had cut it. I don't know why, but we're getting a new tank anyway, so we'll run some new lines and get that all situated. What I like to do is I'll take some cloth or whatever to sop up any gas in there, because it was about quarter way full. You jam it down in all the holes, and then this tank I'm going to hold on to until we get the new one, just to make sure, you know, I don't need anything from it. But put a little duct tape around that, seals it up real nice. there you go. That's with no tank in there. It's pretty cool. That's the line that was attached to the tank. It's old. Get some new stuff. I thought was really interesting is this. That's so crazy. I wonder what or why that's shaped like that. If it's for like vibration dampening or lighting, like making it lighter, like not as heavy. I don't know. If someone knows, write it up in the comments. But there you go. These Chick-fil-A boxes are awesome. You can grab a shit ton of them and write down what it is, and then boom, easy stash. Because a lot of times you'll have like a couple pieces, and these boxes don't take up a whole lot of room. All right, well there you go. It's 11 minutes of me farting around. Hopefully next time I get on this, which will probably be next week or the next after that, I'll have a better camera setup. But you know, subscribe, follow my projects. I got a bunch of projects, so we'll start filming all of them. Thanks. Bye.